Hello guys and welcome to episode 2 of the Not Another Sports podcast. First one went really well, we're doing a second one. Who would have thought? We're doing a sequel. Will it be better? Don't know, but I will guarantee it will be quite longer. What I'm going to do though is here are the selected topics that we are going to be doing in order, and here is the timestamps they will be. So basically, if you're only going to click on for like a specific section, you can just go to that bit. But yeah, so anyways, if we just let's just get started with it. So let's go on to the first topic, a very big topic nonetheless. It does involve basically boxing. Who would have thought boxing would be the opening sport we talk about, but it does have a mixture with the NRL. That being, Paul Gallen is going to be boxing again. Of course, as we all know, he's had a very prolific boxing career after rugby league. He is set to take on Josh Aloiai of the Manly Sea Eagles on December 10th in Newcastle in a boxing ring, which is pretty darn interesting because Newcastle is a very interesting city. Of course, as we all know, that Newcastle's like one town team, you know, die hard till the end and all that stuff like that. But who do Newcastle choose to pick to support in this? Because when I was at the Tim Tszyu Dennis Hogan fight, and Paul Gallen was there to promote his fight against I believe it was Daddy Brown. And basically he popped up on the TV and he got the absolute shit booed out of him. Like bloody Anthony Mundine was there, and Anthony Mundine got cheers, but that was also because he announced his retirement from boxing. And then you got Josh Aloiai, and yes, I'm very much aware, yes, Newcastle and Manly did have a rivalry in the mid to late 90s, but let's be honest, the rivalry's not really a thing anymore. Like, it really isn't. So it's like, I feel like most people probably are going to go to Aloiai, but like, all the old people's like, who are they going to go for? A person who pretty much personifies not Newcastle in Paul Gallen. Don't ask me to explain what the fuck does that mean, just go with it. And a person who plays for a team that people from Newcastle don't like either, which is also going to be interesting. There is also a bunch of other fights, because it's a double night. So there's the Friday night, which is obviously where all these NRL boxing and other fights are happening. And then there's a boxing card on Thursday, but we're not going to talk about them just yet because they don't have any NRL players in them. There are two other fights with NRL players in them. One of them is going to be pretty interesting. Joey Leilua versus Chris Hyington. So, I feel like with this boxing card, for this being Newcastle, they're just trying to gather everyone that Newcastle fucking hates, because obviously the whole Joey Leilua Newcastle Knights thing was a bit out there, and it was, let's just say they didn't leave on very good terms. And then you've got him fighting Chris Hyington, who, he's like, why the fuck is he getting in the ring? But fair play to him. I think probably he's going to get because he did play for the Knights for a bit, but then again so did Leilua, but Leilua had a very tumultuous ending of his Knights career, so I feel people will gravitate towards Chris Hyington. And then you've also got Kotoni Staggs of the Brisbane Broncos fighting Nathan Ross. Now, first things first, I don't know why Nathan Ross is doing this fight, and also why is he fighting Kotoni Staggs. It's the most randomest pick. He could have said Matt King, and it probably would have been less strange. Nathan Ross does have boxing history. It is when there was like videos of him boxing, but all the way back as 2013. But good luck to Kotoni Staggs, but I'm fairly certain no one will be going for him because Nathan Ross, of course, played his entire NRL career with the Newcastle Knights. So, yeah, it's going to be be interesting to see if anyone actually does support Kotoni Staggs. So, some other fights are on the card is Sam Goodman is meant to be fighting on this card as well. A very good fighter. I saw him fight in the Paul Gallen Justin Hooney. I think it's Justice or Justice Hooney. I don't care. Justice Hooney undercard. He was a very good fighter, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see of all of these boxing fights. Who do you guys think, in the terms of the NRL players, who will actually come out on top? Will Gallen will get the win to basically strengthen him getting another title fight against Justice Hooney for the Australian heavyweight title? Will Joey Leilua beat Chris Harrington? Will Nathan Ross beat Tony Staggs? Who knows what is going to be happening? I'm very much likely going to go to this, so it'd be interesting to see if I do vlog, if I remember to charge the phone, which is going to be a big factor. Now we're going to talk about some transfer news regarding the NRL. This is a little bit old as of recording this on Friday morning, is that the Redcliffe Dolphins, or the Dolphins for some reason, have officially signed their first NRL player. It is not a 19-year-old. It is a young player from the name of Harrison Graham. He has been made the first signing of the Dolphins. What I've got from Harrison Graham so far, he's on a development contract, so obviously once he does get into, when it comes to 2023, he can get upgraded to a full contract. He played his 2021 season at the Wingham Seagulls in the Queensland Rugby League, which they made all the way to the grand final, only to just lose to the North Devils. And he did also play in the under-18 State of Origin Queensland team in 2019. It is pretty interesting to see Dolphins going for like a proper Queensland identity. I do know that the Dolphins are meant to be playing at Suncorp Stadium, which, I'm sorry, it's stupid. They shouldn't do it. Like, the stadium is literally, it's Brisbane's ground. It's like putting another team in Newcastle and they're playing at Newcastle Stadium. It's just ridiculous. And I think personally, like, the more games that Redcliffe have at their like Morton Stadium, I think it is for the better. So it should hopefully happen like that. I mean, I pray for it, but yeah. But one thing we do also in connection to that is recent developments with Brandon Smith. Now, Brandon Smith has been caught in a few meetings with potential teams after his contract ends with Melbourne. A lot of them being in Queensland, because he has actually revealed that his parents have moved to Brisbane. So he's been meeting with the Titans, who have been one of the big favourites, the Cowboys, and just recently, I don't know how long ago this was, walking out of from a meeting with Redcliffe, basically saying, he's like, oh, and then like a Channel 9 person of him saying, oh, how was the meeting? How was the meeting? He's like, what meeting? I was in there playing the pokies, which, fuck me, Brandon Smith, you are quite a character. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this Redcliffe team is going to line up, because there's obviously big talks about Cameron Munster also going to this Redcliffe team. I wouldn't be surprised actually if the Redcliffe Dolphins actually like make the they'll make the finals in their first season easily. But I do feel I honestly feel like, by the way things are going, I think Redcliffe are going to make a grand final before the Gold Coast. It's like, I know the Gold Coast had that whole thing about, oh, we're going to win this many grand finals over the next 10 years. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So, but yeah, I mean, good to have ambitions, but it's just a bit ridiculous, like, in all honesty. Oh, so it actually, so it turns out they've actually, just want to confirm, they've actually dropped Redcliffe from the name. It's actually official. And I have seen their heritage jersey and some of their merch that they have dropped. I think it looks shit. So you got basically just a Dolphins like logo here in red. I'll pop a picture up, and then you just got a massive Kings logo, which is a bit, it's just a bit bollocks, isn't it? Now a different bit of news. So this is to come with the NRL, but this is in regards to a new market when it comes to rugby league. As a interview here from from Fox saying NRL boss Peter Valenti's backs push for Kenya to become rugby league's next market. So this is just quoted from. So this came out yesterday morning. So a renowned Australian athletics coach who competed internationally has approached the NRL and two clubs in creating a revolutionary avenue for Kenyan players to become professional footballers in Australia. And Brooke Tenner has claimed the move would be instantly open another player pathway for NRL clubs outside of Papua New Guinea, England, the Pacific and New Zealand. Rugby league needs a bigger pull, and Kenya has the greatest sports people in the world. Their endurance, their ability to train, and ability to take lessons, they are great soldiers, has said Brooke Tenner. I think this is actually a fantastic move. It's also with because obviously we all know about how athletic the Kenyans are, especially when it comes to marathon running and stuff like that. I think this is going to be I think it's a great thing to obviously spread the game out because you can only really do so much when it comes to the Pacific, some bits of Europe, and Australia. I know there's the US Rugby League in North America, but I think honestly going to Africa is probably the right move for actually building it up. So obviously getting all the fast players to come in, I think it would genuinely be really good. So it says that Kenya has an 8-team rugby league comp and 750 registered players. So I'm just looking through the article. It's Kenya. I'm just trying to say because there are Kenyan players who do play in the NRL. For example, Jason Saab is actually of Kenyan descent. So they're saying the Kenyan sports government is looking for other sports to allow these athletes to blossom. When they found out about a potential pathway and that someone could take this to the NRL, they were extremely happy. So I'm just trying to find out there's probably a list somewhere. I'll have to put it up about Tenner claims there are hundreds of tall athletes with a similar build and speed to Manly's Jason Saab. So they're definitely using Jason Saab as a guideline for these Kenyan athletes. So we have a new team in the NRL with the Dolphins, and we need a pathway between Kenya and Australia to build a ladder so players can start coming across and progress. To take up another country like this, it's a fantastic opportunity for the NRL and would open up Africa. And I think that's a very good thing because you can kind of start seeing it now with rugby in the parts of Central Africa, so it should be really good. I mean, I know Kenya's a bit out there in terms of where the game needs to spread because, of course, Papua New Guinea should have a rugby league team in the NRL. I think it's stupid that they don't, but yeah, I think it's actually going to be very good to see if this actually can go through. So, yeah, I think whatever happens with that, I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm saying pretty a lot for some stupid reason. Now we're going to move on to the world of football, and God, there are some things we need to talk about. The first thing we're going to talk about now is about Manchester United. As some of you may know, I do support them, unfortunately, and of course, they've been in what's saying as a downward spiral at the moment. Of course, losing 5-0 to Liverpool at Old Trafford, and then the very next league game, lose 2-0 to Manchester City at Old Trafford. So obviously, times are very tough at Old Trafford. There's been a lot of talks about when will Manchester United get released Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from being coach. I know there was a couple of rumours. I know Antonio Conte was rumoured with us, but now he's at Tottenham. I know the top ones are Zinedine Zidane is one of them. And also, just recently, over the last couple of hours, Brendan Rodgers, the former Liverpool coach, is a target to take over Manchester United. That's interesting. I'd have to look this up, but I don't think this has happened in the rivalry of Manchester United and Liverpool, of a coach coaching both sides. It surely has never happened before. So, I don't know. I know, basically United's next game is against Watford. I feel like if they lose that game, I mean, Ferguson needs to... Not Ferguson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of needs the axe, because the club's basically... We've become the banter club. I know Arsenal had a shit start to the season, but it's we are now the banter club. If we don't get a result against Watford, we are the banter club in the Premier League. It's like, oh, Manchester United, but yeah, unfortunately, that's just gonna be how it is. Unfortunately, hopefully Manchester United can turn around. I know a few players did get injured, like Cavani has been there for a bit. Pogba could be out for a while, which is pretty interesting. Maybe hopefully opening up for Donny van de Beek to get some fucking game time, because Jesus Christ, it's pissed me off that we've basically ruined his career. But yeah, so Manchester, what do you guys think? I'm not even going to ask that question. Are Manchester United the banter team in the Premier League? Yes, they are. But what do you think it will take for them to basically come out of this looking a lot better? Now, also, the thing I'm going to go into is some reviews of some of things that have happened. First things first is the Socceroos match. They did play, as of recording yesterday, they played against Saudi Arabia. Our first home game in 2 years, which didn't really look like as a home game because of the massive support from the Saudi Arabia fans in Western Sydney. But the weather was very, very shit, as it has been in New South Wales over the last couple of days. It was a 0-0 draw, which is a bit sketchy. We definitely do need need results to come better for it. So basically, in terms of our group standing, Saudi Arabia, as I just looked, because I was actually looking at the group as a game was going on between China and Oman. China up 1-0, but it looks like it's been a draw. So this is how the Group B looks for us. Basically, for comparison, top 2 go through to the World Cup automatically. Third place, whoever comes third in Group A, in a two-leg matches, and then it goes over to we play someone over like in America, like North America, or South America, or Oceania. But yeah, so you see here, Saudi Arabia on 13 points undefeated, us in second with 10 points, Japan with 9, then Oman, China, and Vietnam. Now, obviously, Australia had a very good run of form, and then we had the loss to Japan, and now the draw with Saudi Arabia. Granted, of course, the conditions were pretty bad. I think Australia could have won that game. We did fairly well. We pretty much out pressing and getting the ball back and forcing a mistake from the Saudis was really good. It was fantastic. It was a lot better than what we did against Japan. So there are good changes. I now know our next game is in a couple of days as we play China, and inside of China actually. So you'd be very much hoping that Australia can get a win there and not, get a draw or anything, because now so we now play we play China again, then it's like Vietnam and then Oman, and then our final 2 games are against Japan and Saudi Arabia. And I feel like the Japan game is going to be like the one that decides what happens to us in terms of the World Cup. It's like, I feel like over the last couple of years when it comes to the World Cup, the Australians have just been had a very relaxed look of it. It's like, oh, we'll just qualify. It's like, and rest on that, and it's like, oh, we'll coast through, and then it's like, oh shit, we won't, and then we have to play Syria in the Asian playoff, and then play Honduras, and basically do it the hard way. It's like, the thing is, I think it's just overall, not cockiness, but oh, we're better than Asia. The thing is, though, we are not that good in Asia. Yes, we can beat teams like Oman, China, Vietnam, Syria, the UAE, Iraq, but against the teams the big boys when it comes to Asia, being Saudi Arabia, Japan, Iran, and South Korea, we get shit on. In all honesty, if we were in the group with Iran and South Korea, which is Group A, we would not make the World Cup. Just no way. It's everyone. It's also with the thing with the Asian Champions League. It's we've stayed the same. It's just everyone else has gotten better. It's how are we meant to combat this? It's just be better. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass of just trying to get Australia to into this World Cup, because if Australia don't make the World Cup, it is a bad thing for football in this country. Because I know like football doesn't get the respect it deserves in this country compared to other sports like the NRL and the AFL, and even cricket for some reason. But it's like, it's just, you want this to be the best sport in the country. But the problem is though, it's like all of these factors. Like I could go on for like a whole hour and a half about this shit, in like all the way from grassroots up to like the establishment when it comes to football in this country. It's just ridiculous. So we'll move on. We're going to talk about some of the FFA Cups. So the FFA Cup, for those who don't know, it's basically the FA Cup but for Australia. So you get like teams from like in the NPL and the lower divisions taking on teams in the A-League, and you get some upsets. So basically, obviously because of the current situation with COVID, basically the draws and the rounds, plus also the A-League's like first couple of months have been conference. So basically it's like New South Wales, Victoria, and all that sort of stuff. So basically everything's been kept into the States. So we've got some results so far. And so for example, like Adelaide United and Brisbane Roar have already qualified for the round of 16. Even though there's teams that haven't even played in a playoff yet. For example, the Newcastle Jets have to play Western United, and Perth Glory play Melbourne Victory to get into the FFA Cup. I believe if the Jets beat Western United, we play Wellington in the round of 32. And then you got some games in the round of 32. You had Brisbane beat Peninsula Power 3-0. The Gold Coast Knights beat Edge Hill. Queensland Lions beat Casuarina. Adelaide United beat Florida Athena. Adelaide Olympic beat ECU Joondalup. You had Wollongong Wolves defeating the Mount Druitt Rangers 3-0. You had the Wanderers defeating the Broadmeadow Magic 3-0. And you had Hume City beating Port Melbourne 3-1. At the 91st minute, it was 1-1. In the 94th minute, it was 3-1 to Hume City. And so some of the games coming up is actually tonight, as it is going up, probably around the similar time. You got South Melbourne. The South Melbourne Hellers, one of the legendary teams from the NSL, National Sports League, the National Soccer League of before it was the A-League, taking on Melbourne City, the defending A-League champions. And then you got on Saturday, you've got the Blacktown City. You got Blacktown City taking on the Central Coast Mariners. Blacktown City have caused a few upsets, have done really well. Then you've got Hamilton Olympic, or Newcastle Olympic, because they've changed, taking on one of the newer teams in the A-League with the Macarthur Bulls. Then you've got a Tigers rivalry between Tigers and Apia Leichhardt. And then you've got Sydney Olympic, one of the great Greek clubs in the NPL, taking on Sydney FC. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening here. Like, I know people like sneer at football in this country, but just give it a shot, you know. Just come on. Please give us a try. But we'll actually be now moving on to talking about the FA Cup. So, in my personal opinion, my favourite cup competition, the FA Cup, it's had its first round of action, and there was a few upsets actually. To be fair, there was a few upsets. So let's go into it. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of first round replays because of draws. So let's just get into all of these results. So you're starting it off with Colchester United defeating AFC Sudbury 4-0. Not exactly a shock. You had Doncaster going 1-0 up against Scunthorpe. Gillingham and Cheltenham with a 1-1 draw, meaning they have to play a replay on the next Wednesday. You got Kidderminster Harriers defeating Grimsby Town 1-0. You had AFC Wimbledon defeating Geesley. I'm just going to get roasted for that pronunciation, 1-0. You had Morecambe defeating Newport County 1-0. You had Yeovil Town defeating Yate Town 5-0. You had Leyton Orient defeating Ebbsfleet United 1-0. You had Ipswich Town and Oldham Athletic drawing 1-1. So there's going to be a replay at Oldham's ground. Maybe a little bit of an upset there, because Oldham are in League 2 and Ipswich are in the Championship, I think. Boreham Wood defeating Eastleigh 2-0. Harrogate Town defeating Wrexham 2-1. That's going to piss off Ryan Reynolds. Bradford City and Exeter City with a 1-1 draw. Portsmouth defeating Harrow Borough 1-0. Tranmere defeating Crawley Town 1-0. And a big stonker of a game. FC Halifax Town defeating Maidenhead United 7-4. I'm going to actually look at those highlights. That looks sick. Then you got Rotherham defeating Bromley 3-0. Charlton Athletic defeated Havant and Waterlooville 4-0. Chesterfield defeating Southend United 3-1. 2 red cards in that game. Got Hartlepool and Wickham with a 2-2 draw. Carlisle defeating Horsham 2-0. Northampton Town and Cambridge United with a 2-2 draw. Sutton United defeating Hayes and Yeading United 1-0. Buxton defeating York City 1-0. I believe that is actually an upset. Sunderland losing to Mansfield Town 1-0. Burton Albion defeating Fleetwood Town 2-1. MK Dons and Stevenage drawing 2-2. Gateshead and Altrincham drawing 2-2. Walsall defeating Kings Lynn Town 1-0. Port Vale defeating Accrington Stanley, who are they, 5-1. Swindon Town defeating Crewe Alexandria 3-0. Lincoln City defeating Bowers and Pitsea 1-0. Breathe. Wigan and Solihull Moors having a 0-0 draw. If that does happen and Solihull Moors actually get the win, that is a big upset. You got Barrow defeating Banbury United 4-0. Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth Argyle with a 0-0 draw. Oxford United and Bristol Rovers with a 2-2 draw. Bolton and Stockport with a 2-2 draw. Shrewsbury defeating Stratford Town 5-1. Rochdale and Notts County with a 1-1 draw. St Albion City in the National League, in the 6th tier of English football, beating Forest Green Rovers 3-2. Forest Green Rovers top of the table in the League 2. About 50 so positions between them, and a big win there for St Albans City. Big first round proper giant killing. And you got Salford City defeating Dagenham and Redbridge. Jesus Christ, that was a fucking mouthful. So it's just me just saying results for like 15 minutes. But yeah, should be very interesting. So there are, from the first round, from the draws, there are going to be replays, but we do have some matches confirmed for the second round of the FA Cup. So you've got confirmed Carlisle versus Shrewsbury, Leyton Orient versus Tranmere, Kidderminster versus Halifax Town, Burton Albion versus Port Vale, Walsall versus Swindon Town, Doncaster versus Mansfield Town, Portsmouth versus Harrogate Town, Salford City versus Chesterfield, and Boreham Wood versus St Albans City. So pretty much the Premier League and the Championship teams come into it in round 3, so that's when it gets like, the big proper giant killings is when they come in. So yeah, very interesting to see how the FA Cup will go. It's on 10 play until... So you can watch it in Australia. Watch the FA Cup, it's on 10 play up until it gets onto Paramount Plus. Well, that was very much a big mouthful, but hopefully some of you could understand what was going on through that. So I believe that is everything needed. So yeah, these are just pretty much the plan for these is just these are going to come out at the like on there, and I'm just going to release some clips to the actual channel for it, and then probably swap it over when it comes to like 5 or 10 episodes of this series. If you want any questions answered about certain things, we'll probably have it as a segment of like a Q&A type thing. We can definitely do that. We're very loose. It's very loose at the moment of what we can do. We can do whatever we want, really. We can swear, but I will not to do. But yeah. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all very much for if you want these things, comment what you are about what you think of this episode, of whatever you want about in terms of like the subject matter. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later for episode 3.